Hello, I'm going to be dealing with two issues here in this one video. And one of them is to do with propaganda, and the other one is to do with political correctness, or even worse, surrounding the Begum business. Excuse me. Now, the first is to draw to your attention, if you didn't already know, that the Begum family are appealing the denationalisation of their daughter. And they turned up in court in this family. I don't know whether they turned up like that or they turned up for publicity shot, but this is the publicity shot of them. Now, I want you to notice what Mr. Begum is carrying. He's carrying a teddy bear. This did interest me because I suppose it's not his teddy bear. I suppose it's supposed to be his daughter's teddy bear. Shamima Begum was 15 when she ran away. If they are religious Muslims, she would not have been allowed a teddy bear in her house, as dolls are forbidden to any person. Girls under the age of puberty are allowed to play with dolls. But as soon as they reach puberty, they're not supposed to have dolls of any sort anymore, because images, oh, there's a pigeon outside the window, images of any sort are forbidden in Islam. So that teddy bear, if they're such a religious family, could not have belonged to Shamima. But even if it did belong to her, I thought this was a rather interesting photo because, as you know, I keep an eye on Middle Eastern affairs all the time. And I'm especially interested in accessing a lot of Arabic websites. And among them are websites to do with the Palestinians or Hamas or Fatah in some way or another. And I want to show you, first of all, let's look at this photo of the Begums again. And then let's look at this one. And 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 this one isn't from a Palestinian website, it's from a website about Lebanon. I suppose some of you might notice a pattern here. Somebody has advised the Begums to use that teddy bear. And they've advised them to use that teddy bear because they are aware of these other websites which give an image, an impression that they think might be useful in tearing people's hearts out about basically the expulsion of this woman. And I do call her a woman because she's married. And she has had children, however badly she looked after them. I don't think we can refer to Shamima Begum anymore as a girl. However, I thought you'd all be interested in seeing that. Now, I want to talk about something else, which almost makes me feels like I should be putting a tin hat on. I'm very, very concerned about the way my thoughts are going, but maybe you can all give your opinions on this vague thought that's been circulating in my mind. How did she manage to get through the airport? She went through Gatwick Airport. Her passport said she was older than she was, but she was 15 and in the company of two other 15-year-old girls. They can't have all look like they were 18. They were a bunch of kids. How come they got through? How was it possible that somebody didn't say to somebody else, do you think that those kids are running away? Because, look, it might be more, but she had to go through check-in, where they ask you questions and they take your baggage, don't they? And they look at your passport. Then they would have gone through security on the way into the departure lounge. And then they would have, when they got on the plane, they would have had to show their tickets to the steward or the stewardess. That's at least 3 points of check, but there would have been more because the cameras all over the airport, and I'm quite sure there are police watching people in the airport. There must be far more than that going on that I don't know about. How come nobody thought to recheck the validity of those kids as they went out of this country? Now, I can think of only 2 possible reasons. One of them is that, let's take it, if you're non-Muslim looking at these girls and you don't want to say anything because you're worried about being called a racist. So you might have realised there was something fishy, but you didn't want to say anything. You damped it down. You might have even damped it down before you had consciously thought of it. And the second thing is that the person who was at the airport checking them through was a Muslim, may have realised there was something fishy, and didn't want to say anything. It's possible, isn't it? But we have to consider the fact that we are etching into our minds some sort of mindset that has to do with Muslims, which I don't find very healthy. If you remember, Asia Bibi was not let into this country, it was said, because it might disturb community cohesion. And yet these girls got out of this country. And I'm quite sure, again, it had something to do with this community cohesion thing, which isn't community cohesion, really. It's an over-consideration for the Muslims in our community. Or rather, the Muslims of a certain mindset who make the most noise and are prone to some sort of violent reaction in some way or another. We'll have to watch that, and certainly we'll have to ask, how did those girls get out of our airport, even though they were 15 years old and it should have been obvious to somebody that they were underage, and yet they weren't stopped? It's a very good question. Right, that's it. Let's see how this video comes out. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, and if you wish to donate, click the subscribe star link where you can make a one-off payment or set up a regular contribution, or I have a PayPal account at grannyopteryx@gmail.com. Till next time.